talks. Fags signing on for another couple of years. It looks like good news all round, really. What's your take?
Yeah, absolutely. It's fantastic. I think what he's been able to bring to the club for the past 2 years, leadership, culture, keeping it really stable, same game plan. I think it's well deserved, and I think you can see that in the results this year that we're playing a really consistent brand of football. Apart from the Richmond game, which we constantly use as a benchmark of what we need to get to. Apart from that game, we feel like we've been really consistent through the whole year, and that's due to on the back of Fags' great work. So, congratulations.
He sort of put the onus on himself and the group probably to make finals in the next couple of years. Is that about what you think as well?
That's certainly what I think, but there's a process that needs to be put in place before that happens, and we're working towards that every week that we go out, training, gym, game day. We're trying to strive to get that benchmark game for ourselves, and if we can get that on a really consistent basis, then we certainly won't be putting a roof on it.
He said that actually about not putting limits on it, and that's probably right given that so many games have been close losses for you guys this year, and in footy, sort of anything can happen really from one year to the next. Like, what do you think the prospects are for next year? I guess it could be anything.
Yeah, it could be, and we have had those close losses all year, and it's important that we learn from them. And we certainly didn't learn early on in the year where we had 4 or 5 within the space of about 6 weeks. So I feel like towards the back end of the year we've certainly got a lot better at it. I think on the weekend was a step in the right direction, but until we can clean up that sort of stuff, which I'm sure it'll come in the next year or two with another pre-season, more composure, blokes feeling like they belong at the level. Yeah, there's no ceiling on it, there's no doubt about that.
What separates him from the other coaches you've had at this club?
Well, I was very raw when it was Michael Voss, so I don't have a great understanding of what coaching was to be like back then. With Leper and the difference between him and Fags is probably just the relationship building. I think Fags obviously did a really long apprenticeship at Hawthorn, Melbourne. He was in the game for a very long time, overseeing things. And I think it's just probably the relationship side of things that Fags has brought and instilled a lot of confidence in us to go out and do what we can do, what we got drafted to do. And I think the boys have really fed off that confidence that he's been able to provide us by building those relationships.
We had an insight this week too with the Dane Beams interview of the upheaval that was going through this club at the time. I mean, and you're close to him. Can you sort of put that in words as to what that time was like?
Dane kept things fairly close to his chest. Obviously, being a good mate, had a rough idea what was going on, but Dane never really elaborated too much. I guess Clay would have been the one that he sort of vented to a lot more. But yeah, it was certainly difficult, but I think we got through it really well as a club. I think we protected Dane really well. And then at the right time, Dane was able to come out and share his story and did a fantastic job. And since he's been able to take that load off his shoulders, I think you can see in his performances how well he's going, and he just seems like he's playing a lot freer, and that was really important. But at the time, as players, we just sort of cuddled him, got around him, and just protected him and looked after him like good mates do. It's one of our trademarks is brotherhood, and we needed to be a brother to him, and I think we all did that.
How good would it be to finish this year off with one more in the can?
Yeah, I think it's very important that we play a really good brand of football this weekend, because last year we had a similar opportunity against North Melbourne and we sort of just came out and expected it to happen. We had a win maybe 2 weeks before that. Confidence was sky high, and I think our attitude was it was just going to happen, and we've reviewed that really strongly internally this week, and I'm expecting a really bold showing from the boys this week, and it's important that we have a good performance for our fans. This year I think our average losing margin at the Gab has only been 15 points, so the fans have certainly rallied behind us. We've really enjoyed them coming out and supporting us. I think we deserve it to them to come out and put another strong performances on Sunday.
Are you approaching it like this is your grand final in some ways? It's a big game for them. There's the top 2 up for grabs.
It hasn't been mentioned as if it's a grand final, but I think it's just a really important game for the club. We obviously have an opportunity to shape the finals. Most teams outside the 8 probably set that goal for themselves that if you can't be in them, you can certainly shape them, and West Coast have an opportunity to drop down to 4th. But I think it's just more important that we get our stuff right. Play 4 quarters of football. We've probably only done it 2 times this year, and they've resulted in wins. So if we can, we're expecting them to come out really hot. They've got a top 2 spot in home finals up for grabs. So it's important that we're going to rally that early and then get our game style going.
It's a good test you can carry into next year in some ways.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. They're a top 4 team. They've been top 2 all year, very competitive team. They've lost some stars, but who they brought in has come in and done a fantastic job for them. So it's certainly a team that we want to shape up really well against. We've had a win against Hawthorn twice this year, who are in a top 4 position, and we've got another opportunity on the weekend to play a team that's going to be playing finals, and that's where we aim to be.
If you were them, you'd probably be pretty keen to avoid Richmond at all costs, wouldn't you? If fourth spot is what's happening.
Yeah, Richmond, they're flying at the moment, so they will be doing everything, I reckon, to not have to travel to Melbourne and play Richmond, because they're a powerhouse down there, and they're playing some fantastic football again at the right time of the year as well.
You expecting some company from Mark Hutchings this weekend?
Yeah, probably, but I've expected it all year from apart from those early rounds, so that's fine. I'll just prepare how I normally prepare and do what I have to do for the team. Nothing's going to change for me.
How have you seen your development of, handling taggers as the year's gone on?
Yeah, a lot better. Yeah, probably the unexpected factor of them happening earlier on in the season probably caught me out, but doing research and talking to a lot of people has certainly helped me develop my game, and it's just another thing that happens now on the weekend, and I just prepare for it as if it's going to happen every week. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it does, I've got the tools in my bag that can cope with it.
How do you handle the fallout from the Miller stuff? A lot of, a few ex-players commenting and commentators and everyone sort of having their say out. What's the week been like?
I haven't really listened to any of it. That's fine. It's a competitive game. I'm a competitor. He's a competitor. I guess people probably don't understand when you're in a battle for 2 hours, it's very hard to then instantly, 1 second after the game, to sort of turn to the guy and shake his hand and be like, "Hey mate, how are you? I hope things are well." Like it's a competitive sport. I'm competitive. He's competitive. I got it wrong on the weekend. I probably should have just walked away and after cooled down, gone and shaken his hand. But I'll learn from that. That's fine. People have their opinion. Media's there to certainly talk about those sort of things. So I understand that's the game, and I'll just move on. Didn't pay attention to it and continued on with my job, leading the team this week against West Coast, which is a really important game for us.
Do you think the club needs more help in the midfield? Like, you're getting tagged every week, and we know there's some young guys that'll probably improve. Do you think the club really needs to go out and target another midfielder to bolster your stocks there?
Yeah, probably, but that's for the club to decide. That's not for me to decide. Dane's done a fantastic job this year. We've put a lot of really good young kids through there, and Barry McGluggage and Rayner and Bailey, who've shown some really fantastic things when they've gone in there. So with a pre-season under their belt, whatever the recruiters do in the off-season, getting some more talent would be fantastic. But I think it's been a really positive year with what we've been able to add to our group with the young guys coming through.
How much better can the kids become? I mean, just from your experience, they've had a good season behind them now. They know each other. They all seem to get along pretty well together.
Yeah. I think there's a significant improvement there. I think we could see just Hugh McGluggage last year, the pre-season he had this year to then come out. I think the boys just get a sense of assurance that they can play at the top level, and I think Hugh certainly benefited from that. And I think Cam Rain will take a big step in the off-season. Alex Withern's another one that seems to be growing with every game. So the more games that these guys can play, certainly the more confident they're going to get. And sky's the limit for all 4 of those guys that I've mentioned. Their talent's through the roof. They can obviously play it, but I think it's that confidence knowing they can do it at the top level. And once that clicks, they're going to be 4 very, very good players for our club.
Dane, last one. It's members round this weekend. As captain, do you have a message for them?
It is, yep. Come along. Thanks for all the support for the whole year. $3 pies this weekend, Jose. Kids under 15, get in for free. So we'll make sure that message gets out. And I think it'd just be great if the fans can come down, support the boys for one more time, and hopefully we can get the win from them. That'd be great.